seeing where the beef comes from, and then being able to live bid and buy something that fits their pocketbook. And that's the kind of American way, let the market pick.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Carnivore Revolution. I'm Serena, and today my special guest is Tyler DuVall. He is with Texas Beefhouse from White House, Texas. It's a family-owned and operated cattle ranch where all of the cattle are raised in a pasture and never in a feed yard. Tyler, thank you so much for being with me.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And I know you have something big, something exciting going on at the farm coming up soon, but I'd like to get started by just talking about you and your farm. How long have you owned the farm?
It's a family business. So I was raised on the farm. As soon as we we moved back to Texas back in 2000 or so. And then we've had land and cattle ever since. My dad was raised on a farm when he was young growing up, and it's just kind of been a passion of all of us. So I'd say we've been doing this for well over 20 years. I'm only, in my mid 30s. So it's something that we've taken that much time to anybody in the cattle business, anybody in agriculture knows it is a lifetime, a generational deal to build up a cow herd and to be able to have enough animals to present to the public. If you're selling straight calves or you're selling beef or you're selling bulls, I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. Let's say that.
And so now you have a family of your own, right? And that's where you live, is on the farm.
Yes, ma'am. Yep. I've got a wife. I've got 3 daughters, and then a little boy at the end. And it's just everything's ag, everything's beef. The whole reason we got into this business is we sell bulls. There's a lot of ranchers that have to have bulls for their operation, and there's a lot of different breeds to choose from. We are Angus, Black Angus breeders, and that is the business breed, and that is one of the best marbling breeds in the country. And so we've had a passion for that. They're really good cattle. They're easy to handle. They respond well to feed. They respond well to their environment. They're calm, docile animals, make great mama cows. And so my kids are always out and on the farm, in the barns. I don't have to worry too much about them getting injured. But these cattle are very easy keeping, easy fleshing, and that is pretty much, if you know anything about beef, Angus, and that is one of the breeds for America. That's American breed. And so years ago, my dad was traveling, and he had his first Wagyu steak on a business trip, and he called me. I was still a teenager. I remember the phone call, and he told me about the steak and told me about he had done a little research and looked into Wagyu beef and where it came from. And he thought, since we're already got a little bit of a side beef business going, why don't we look at this Wagyu and breed that in and bring that bull in and put it over our cattle and see if we can make a cross between Angus and Wagyu. And I remember he said he thinks it'd be the best of both worlds. Angus are really good at growing. They do tremendous on feed. You can easily get 4 to 5 pounds a day growing on these animals, and then we can add this extra marbling. And Wagyu, that's a Japanese breed of cattle. They don't grow as fast, but they are very well known for marbling, very well known for tenderness, and that's what you want when you eat a steak or you have any kind of a beef on your plate. You're there for the experience, the taste, the flavor, and Wagyu just adds to that. That being said, our Angus still does really well. We'll have both of those. We'll talk about the auction here in a little bit, but we're going to have both of those breeds available on that day, and we have both of those animals all over the ranch.
So now, as a carnivore, I am not a farmer, and I don't pretend to be a farmer and pretend to know what that life is like. And so many of our viewers probably also take it for granted, like I do. I go to the grocery store and I buy my meat. Sometimes I do get it locally when I can. We bought half a cow back in the spring, and so we do try to support local most of the time. But tell us what a day on the farm is like for you guys and for your kids.
Yes, ma'am. It starts early. Nothing. You can't work all day if you don't start early. That's one of the things I tell all my guys. I tell my family. So we before the sun comes up. I'm usually even in the cattle business. There's a lot of computer work. I'm on my laptop. I'm on my phone. I'm checking emails and notes from customers. I've got a schedule that I keep on my phone, trying to keep everything organized. And then, I mean, it's basically all tailored around the animal and their health and what time of year we're in. This time of year is the fall, so the grasses are fading back. And then we're planting our winter pasture. We're getting ready for the winter grasses, which honestly, winter pasture is tremendous, luscious grass. A lot of tonnage, a lot of growth, and cattle do really well on it. So we try to get that planted this time of year. And then feeding cattle as we transition out of our summer grass into our fall grass. We have a lot of calves on the ground. We do a lot of fall calving here at the farm. We find that the mama cows do a lot better in East Texas if they calve out in the fall, and then we wean their calves off in the late spring, and then they go back into the summer with no stress with the calf on them. And the cow does better, the calf does better. We have a lot of heat in Texas, plays a big factor into raising cattle. So back, what you're saying, how long's the day? 14, 16 hours. There's no, I mean, it just happens all the time. It becomes so repetitive. It's just normal. You'd be surprised what you get used to.
Do you guys just have cattle there, or do you have other animals also?
No, that's our main focus. Main focus is cattle. Yeah, no, but if it was my kids, up to them, we would have chickens and pigs and donkeys and everything. And we've definitely looked into a few things like that. But right now, the main focus is straight cattle. We got a few horses, help us get all the work done. I've got a few hands that are really good on a horse. And but the day-to-day activities are pretty much all based around from the calf to the bull, everything in between.
Okay, so let's talk about this special event you have going on. I'm excited to hear all about this. Amanda Radke connected us because she thought that this would be a great conversation, and she's excited about your auction. And so let's talk about that. Tell me what's going on.
Okay, so November 11th, 1 o'clock. That's second Saturday in November, 11/11. We're going to, for the first time that we can, first time for us, I'm not sure how many other people have done this. We don't think it's very popular right now, but we're going to live auction off Wagyu and Angus beef. So everything 100% was raised on our farm. That is going to come straight from our farm right here in East Texas, White House, Texas. And we're going to have it lotted just like any other sale. You're going to have lot numbers. You're going to have descriptions on how many pounds you expect in that lot. We're going to have to, let you know if it's a whole ribeye or it's already a cut up ribeye, if it's a whole tenderloin. Same thing with New York strips. You can get whole strips. You can get already cut up strips. We've got sirloin. We've got roast. We got brisket. We got ribs. So actually, I just got the final copy of the sale catalog for the beef sale, and that just came in an email a few hours ago. So we can make that available on TexasBeefhouse.com. And really, what drives this was just the demand for beef and getting people a good quality piece of meat that they know where it came from. They can call me on the phone. They can come see the place. It's straight from the farm. And I don't have anything against feedlots, but this is not feedlot beef. Everything comes off our place is rotational grazed. We do supplement with feed and grain as needed for a lot of the cattle, but it's not like what the experience you're getting at the grocery store. You're buying local, you're buying right here from the farm. There's no middleman. I don't have anybody else that's got their hand involved in this, from the breeding all the way down to the harvest, to the packaging, getting it all out. It's all done with Texas Beefhouse.
So I'm excited about this auction. I think it's a really neat way to do it. What do you hope to accomplish besides just getting the meat in people's hands and having people know where the meat comes from? Like, is this something that you want to continue to do? Is this something that you think would be profitable for your farm and maybe be a new way of selling your meat?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I think this is a stepping stone. I think we're going to be able to do this. Well, after the sale happens, we kind of regroup and see where it went, how it went. We'd like to do this quarterly. That's the talks right now. But I have no problem moving this forward and doing this on a monthly basis. It's really a supply and demand thing to see how it goes. And in order to people to really have the experience of seeing where the beef comes from, and then being able to live bid and buy something that fits their pocketbook. And that's the kind of American way, let the market pick. Let the people who are interested in your product bid over that product and put a price on it. And that's I think that's where this is going. You know, I think that's where as Americans, you know, we build and we take off, and it's all because of what we find valuable. You know, and we, you know, so what's valuable right now is a very high quality, good piece of meat, and that's what Texas Beefhouse has. And I think that this is a stepping stone, a building block. I don't think we're going to blow the roof off this place on the first sale. Never happens that way. When we had our first bull sale, it was very small. We had 15, 20 bulls, and we had 15, 20 people, and we sold our bulls, and it was a great day. But now we're going to sell close to 100 bulls a year, and plus female. So it just takes time. It's 4 or 5 years into this, and we're growing that side of it. And Texas Beefhouse was still relatively new. I mean, 2017 is when we opened up the website. I mean, the sales were very small, but we were glad to have them. It's organic growth, and we went from maybe, you know, harvesting 15 steers a year, so we're going to do well over 100 this year. So from 2017 to 2023. And so it's definitely, to your answer your question, yes, I'll see this hopefully moving forward, being able to do more talks with you, more interviews where we say what's the next one's going to involve. We'll tweak a few things. There's always going to be something we want to make better. You know, in shipping, we've already got a commercial account with UPS. We've had that for a long time. We got really good rates with UPS. And so don't be afraid to buy something just because you live, you know, several states away. We can work with you, get you the best rate we can, and make sure you get your product.
What do you think about pushback from the government? And have you received any pushback or any pressure or anything like that? And how do you feel about the government getting involved with the farms and things, and the, you know, the fact that we're talking about getting rid of farms and not eating as much meat for the environment?
I feel like the government should have very little to do with what the farmer and the rancher is doing. I feel like small government and big people. You know, this country, the most successful we've ever been was back when the government did not have their hand in every little aspect of our life. If you want to screw something up, get the government involved. So they're not in it to make money. The American people are. And so if you put somebody who is driven to be successful in front of something, then you got a chance to make that happen and make that work and make that long term. You get the government involved, and all they want to do is line their own pocketbooks and never care about the end user. Don't care. That's what's happened over the last couple of generations. That unfortunately it has become a struggle for the rancher, for the farmer. The government would rather give you money to not produce. The government would rather, if you take your crop and burn it and mow over it, and we'll pay you to not turn it in. That blows my mind. You know, so there's a lot of things to go down that rabbit hole. But I it just makes me sick to think of where we've gone and where we could be if we could vote them out. We need more ranchers. We have all the power. I've heard this several times. I'm not going to take credit for it. My friend Chris Earl, CK6, I think he's a very smart man. But ranchers have all the land and all of the protein. And if we got together and if we had the ability to coordinate, and we could turn this all around in 2 weeks. Because the problem is we all got bills to pay, and we cannot float this without getting money coming in. And there's certain times of year where you got to get paid. But if you were able to hang on to your calf crop for a couple of extra weeks, hang on to your corn or hang on to your beans and not turn it in, and you were able to demand what your price, what you want, the people would come knock on your door and they'd be ready to pay you for it. Because if you stop the food chain and you slow it down, you're going to create a big problem. And what has to happen? To be honest with you, you have to create to where you create somebody else's problem. You create the problem that yours is going to happen eventually, anyways. and then you'll get paid for what you need to. And then people will realize like, hey, you're the one who's producing my hamburger. You're the one who's producing the lettuce on my hamburger, and you'll get paid for what you need to for it. And it doesn't have to be price gouging. It doesn't have to be crooked, but you need to get paid so that you can pay your bills and you don't have to scrounge for it. And we own all the land. We own all the produce. So it can't happen, but it's not an easy thing. It's easier said than done.
Yeah, what I find so interesting is that they want to come down on the farmers for methane gases and all that kind of stuff, and cows are bad for the environment, but they don't say anything about the large companies that are creating all the processed foods. So like if the government's going to get involved in our food, it really should be in the way of the large corporations and the factories that are making all of the processed foods that are so bad for us and causing the sickness, in our country. But instead, they want to give a hard time to farmers like you who are just making a living and providing good quality, nutrient-dense food for the rest of us. And that's the part where I feel like if you say, should the government get involved in our food? I mean, obviously, most people are going to say no, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind if they got involved to shut down some of those factories that create the processed foods that provide no nutrients and aren't necessary for us at all, and have lots of ingredients in them that other countries have banned because of, the health risks because of them.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of things that other countries won't allow, and America has no problem producing it. And I mean, I saw where Doritos and Cheetos are illegal in other countries, and no problem over here. It's insane, right? But the farmers get a bad rep that doesn't make any sense to me, because there's people who don't work on the farm, don't have any ag background. I guess I can maybe try to wrap my head around it, but honestly, we make a living off the land. We make a living off of the animals on the land, no matter what it is. If you're growing corn and beans, cotton, or if you're growing pigs, cattle, whatever your produce is, you're taking care of that animal, because that is what pays you. And I've spent all night bottle feeding the calf because I wanted that calf to make it. Or I could have just gone home, went to bed, and he wouldn't have made it. So people come to me and say how I'm, want to say that we're polluting the environment or we're hurting the environment. Or I mean, we care a lot about the soil. I got a degree in agronomy. Soils is a very big deal. If you're going to grow cattle, you got to grow grass. If you're going to grow grass, you better have a healthy soil. And so the people have a big misconception on what it takes to grow this and produce this, and there's been a lot of bad media, a lot of bad publicity out there, and it's just misinformation.
Yeah, according to the EPA, actually, the level of methane gas and damage to the environment by cows is way at the bottom of the list, and everything else is way more than that. But that's not the message that you get from the media and from the government.
Right. Yeah. No. What the government wants to do is control the food chain. They control the food chain. They control the people. And unfortunately, if we allow this to keep going the way it is, in the direction it is, I mean, I read an article the other day. Several thousand farms a week are going under, and that's been happening for years. And so, I mean, I see a lot of dispersals online, and I feel for those people, because the struggle's real. I mean, I enjoy a good struggle. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy a good challenge, but the government definitely would rather see the farmer, see the rancher go under. They'd rather see the large commercial government-run farm, and then they got all the power. And the day that happens is the day America dies.
I totally agree with that. I just think that the whole process, the plant-based movement, the bugs, like all of that, just to me is so ridiculous. When like probably one really good sized cow would feed me for an entire year, eating it twice a day for my meals. And that's got to be much better and much easier than finding the bugs and processing the bugs and the amount of supplements that you need on a plant-based diet to get the nutrients that you can get from a steak or from a hamburger. Just blows me away. So what do you think as a farmer? What do you think about that plant-based movement and about the bug movement? And are you worried about that at all?
There's an old saying, if it's not sustainable, it's not sustainable. Okay, if American people, just like the whole Beyond Beef burger and all the companies that invested in that and put all their money in that and try to go that, it's tanked. It's gone. They tried, but American ain't gonna eat that. So you go put an option for somebody to have a good piece of beef, or somebody to go have some kind of alternate source of protein that goes back to bugs. Sorry, but that may fly in a couple areas of the country, but it won't be there for long. It's just not going to happen. And so they can try, they can talk about it. It does not bother me. It doesn't. It's a waste of their money. Let them do it. Because just put yourself back into this position. I'm in this position to have a live auction because of the demand. I've had enough people tell me it's a good idea. CK6 Consulting is behind us. It's a great idea. So we've got plenty of people that have reached out to us, said that they think this is something they want to do, be a part of. Since we spread the word on Facebook and Instagram and through the radio, and my phone's been blowing up off the wall. My phone is usually dead by noon. I got to plug it back in. And so that goes right there, just back to the demand of what the people want. They want to eat something that's going to be nutritious, that's going to taste good. And Angus beef, Wagyu beef has all that, and so I can totally relate to what you're doing, a carnivore diet. I love beef. Absolutely love it. I think it's wonderful. I eat more of that than anything else. And so there's plenty of people out there who are willing to pay extra because they want that good eating experience, and that's what we're going to accomplish, and that's what we're going to achieve on November 11th. And we're going to allow people to buy what they want, bid what they want, and it's going to be an interesting day. I'm excited. Yeah, November 11th, the actual auction will happen 1:00 Texas time. So you can call me on the phone. I'll have several other phones here, or CCI Live. You can go on, create an account, and whenever it gets to that sale day, you just click on the Capital Angus or Texas Beefhouse link on cci.live. And if you have, I think we even have the link on our webpage, texasbeefhouse.com. If you go to this auction, go to the beef auction, cci.live is already on the webpage. You can click straight on there.
Okay, so you'll be taking the bids, and you'll be comparing them. Like if people are calling you over the phone and people are also sending it in on that cci.live,
Yes,
you will be comparing those and choosing the winner of all of them combined, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, Wes Teeman with CK6 is a awesome auctioneer. Does it hundreds of times a year, travels all over the country. And so this is nothing new to what we do in the cattle business. So on our sale day, when we sell bulls and females, I've got people standing in the room bidding. I've got guys online, and CCI Live is helping monitor all the online bids in real time. And then I got guys on the phone who are doing the same thing. They're raising their hand. They got their guy on the phone who's bidding. And so it's really just watching the floor and watching online. And we take it a little bit slower. There's no doubt that this is not going to be the exact way that we do it with bulls and females, guys who are used to an auction. And Wes is very good at slowing it down if he needs to, and making sure everybody's on the same page, and everybody's making the bid and the decision that they want to. All one word, TexasBeefhouse.com. And also, I mean, the auction's a big deal. We're really excited about it, but you can order on our website 24/7. We ship all over the United States, all 48 states, lower 48, and the freight shipping rates are all built in. And we've got, anything from hamburger packages, we call the family bundles. We've got all the steaks, all the roast, brisket. It's just inventory fluctuates from time to time because the holiday season's coming up, and we'll ship 300-400 boxes just in the end of November and 1st of December. Which is a pretty big increase for us. We're still small time, but we'll do a lot of business, and a lot of guys will order, a lot of wives and a lot of daughters will order beef for the man in their life, because that's so much easier. You know, what an easy gift. And a tomahawk steak or a big prime rib roast or a bunch of ribeyes put a smile on any guy's face for the weekend.
Yeah, they say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, right?
That is very true. Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you so much for hanging out, Tyler. I'm really excited about this, and I will definitely be there for the auction and getting us some meat to have here at home.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining me here on the Carnivore Revolution.